Well, we told you about a poll last week suggesting a majority of voters, including Democrats, think President Biden will not finish his first term. And of course, if that happens, Kamala Harris moves into the Oval Office. So we've been watching the VP.
Yeah, maybe very closely here. We told you about how it was Harris, not President Biden, who first met with the Prime Minister of Japan. And it was Harris last Friday who first met with South Korea's president. But beyond taking on what is generally actively reserved for just the president, it's not the VP, we noticed that maybe Harris has a unique style, if you will. We'll show you. Here she is, greeting Korean President Moon here. Notice how she shakes his hand and wipes it off. Right there on the leg as we slow it down for you. Instant replay. Now for a look at Kamala Harris' style, at least when you're greeting global leaders. We have our panelists.
Yeah, we do. We're joined by Hal Lambert, former Ted Cruz National Finance Chair. Also on the program, Jennifer Kearns, host of All American Radio. She's also a publisher of allamericannews.com and a Newsmax contributor, insider. And Dino Scaros, presidential historian, professor, immigration attorney, and author of the book Trumped Up Charges. Okay, so we are talking about the vice president and the president, of course, as well. But Hal Lambert, start us off. Your thoughts on the person who's supposedly second in charge meeting with these world leaders first?
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem right there, right? I mean, where is President Biden on these meetings? Why is the president of Korea not meeting with the president of the United States? That's one problem. The second, obviously, is it was clearly instinctive. I mean, I don't view it. Some people have said it would be considered racist. I don't think it's racist. I think she just did it instinctively, which is certainly rude. And you notice she put her hand out first, obviously. And then to wipe her hand off is disrespectful. It's probably not going to help the meeting go well, at least the follow-up to the meetings go well, because obviously he's now seen this being played around the world. So it would be considered disrespectful, and it's just not helpful. And it shows the lack of, quite frankly, the lack of experience that she has on the world stage. So to have her out there is part of the problem.
Let me focus, Jen, let me jump to that, the handshake here, because someone could watch it and say, all right, you guys are taking this a little too far. But here's what I want to point out, is the cultural differences. When you come to the United States of America, we always know, at least pre-pandemic, we shake hands. That's how we greet people. I myself have been to Seoul, South Korea. They bow there. That is how you interact with everyone. It's not handshaking, it's bowing. So, but the president of South Korea there comes over, he's embracing our culture. So again, that is what we're looking at here as a potential snub, if you will. Maybe it was overlooked just by a sweaty palm, whatever, you wiped it off. But again, he's embracing our culture in our country. Jen Kearns.
Well, it is clearly amateur hour at the White House, Sean, and this is the result of having a weak president. You send your number two out there, someone who has zero foreign policy experience prior to ascending to the White House with you. That is what you have in Kamala Harris. You also have here a situation which is a huge contrast to President Trump and how he behaved, not in South Korea, but in North Korea, one of the most dangerous spots in the world. President Trump went right up to Kim Jong and shook his hand and didn't wipe it afterward. I mean, it's clearly amateur hour at the White House. This is what you get when you step out from behind the Zoom camera, where you've been doing Zoom diplomacy for the first 100 days of the Biden administration. This is real life. This is real foreign policy, and they're not used to it. And Kamala Harris certainly has no experience in it.
Outside of Zoom, you can't blame technical difficulties for awkward moments there.
Right.
But Dino, we've seen the vice president really be tapped with some impressive responsibilities here. She met with the South Korean president. She met with the prime minister of Japan. She's been on phone calls with Emmanuel Macron, Benjamin Netanyahu, Justin Trudeau. She's tapped to oversee the border here. These are a lot of roles that she's expected to fill. Is this typical of the vice president?
Emma, to some extent it is, but I think the optics here have been so weird in this young Biden administration, because I don't know if you noticed, when Biden speaks, Kamala Harris is usually 5 feet behind him, and the optics are so off because she's usually dressed in all black with a black mask. So you either think she's some ninja bodyguard or some subservient masked woman 10 paces behind the man. And it just looks awful. And that's what I found strangest about this whole thing, where Biden shows up, he speaks, she doesn't say a word, she just stands behind him. Very, very strange.
We remember during the campaign, it was very clearly the Biden-Harris campaign, and we spoke about that and kind of analyzed it as well. It's been interesting to see how the campaigns turned into the administration. Our political panelists, Hal Lambert, Jennifer Kearns, Dino Scaros, stick around. Still more to get to.